I'm Sarah Lai. I have my own company called SLPR, and on the same side of that, I work with Creative Nation and Ready Set Records, primarily with marketing, day-to-day managing for artists, and helping with any of the social media or publicity efforts. I would say the three most important things, it kind of varies per artist, but definitely presence wherever you are. If it's Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, anything, website. If you have newsletters that you send out to people, keep them engaged because it's like a relationship, out of sight, out of mind. And I think sometimes people will forget like, oh, I don't want to send too much stuff, and then they don't send anything for a year. But on the same way, my number two would be don't over engage. Don't always be on. So people are like, do they not have a life? Do they just sit at home and tweet at people? Because you need to look like you're doing stuff. You need to look like you're making music, you're writing, and doing things that are fun. And just be yourself. I think a lot of artists, they try to be a person that they're not. And when people meet them in person, they see that they're not the person that they were online. And it just changes their perception. So I think that it's important to be yourself. If you like getting coffee, take a picture of you getting coffee with your friends. If you don't, then don't take a picture of coffee.
I'm Kelsey Granda. I work at Creative Nation, which is owned by Beth and Luke Laird. I am kind of the master of all the details behind the scenes. I do a lot of production coordination for Luke's projects. I set up all the demo sessions for the office, and I pay all the musicians and engineers and studios. I am helping Beth develop a publishing software. I handle kind of all the travel for the office, so anything detailed or administrative is all me. Creative people aren't always the most organized, which is totally fine. That's why I love working with them. But if they could at least turn in something to me, so I have something to work off of, that is always helpful. Dates of creation, so we kind of know like when a song was written, if it gets cut, and we need to know who it belongs to, that kind of thing. If they just have a few of the details, I can piece the rest together. Labels, depending on who you're working with, lots of the labels are fairly organized, especially in their administrative departments, which is who I usually work with. So they actually kind of make it easy. If they could just respond at a quicker pace, that would be excellent. But they're overall pretty good. They're fun to work with.
Some big deciding factors for me is just personality. I think that if you don't believe in your brand, then it's really hard for me to sell your brand, whether it's something simple as putting out a press release that I want people to click on. If it's not a good story, people aren't going to want to know about it. But there's so much that goes into that. Like if there's a team that they're like, yeah, we have this artist, we don't really know where they're going with it, like that doesn't get me excited about it. If the artist is like, I have these songs that I want to come out with, but I don't know what direction, some sounds pop, some sound country, I'll say, hey, like you need to figure out what you want to do, why you want to do it, and then we'll go from there, because this is who they are, this is their brand, and if they are not selling themselves and they don't think it's the best product ever, then there's no way that I can bring it to other people and convince them to listen to it. Another thing is just organization and knowing what they want and just being kind. I think that that's sometimes really hard to find in the music industry, and it's so important because I would rather work with people that I get along with and love, and that it's a longer process of like, hey, we're developing this artist and we need to start from little things instead of these big exciting things, than working with someone that I'm always going to see them calling and thinking, oh, I have to answer their call. And that kind of applies not just with clients, but just everyday atmosphere. I think Kelsey would also agree with that. Just it's so important to work with people that you love. And so that's something that I love, that I get to choose that, and I am so fortunate that I have found that with everyone that I get to work with.
I would honestly just say be more confident in who I am and the strengths that I have. In the music industry, it's so easy to want to be the creative one or the one with the voice, something that's kind of in the spotlight, someone who has like the really interesting job. It took me a while to be okay with the fact that I was good at the details and that I'm better at the behind the scenes kind of stuff. So I would just say I wish that I was more confident in who I was sooner so that I could enjoy what I'm doing sooner, because I love what I get to do now that I have fully recognize that those are my strengths and that I love color coding things. And so I would just say, be who you are and love who you are, because you're needed. There's a spot for everybody in the industry, and all sorts of skills are needed, not just like the creative. It's so much of what this business is, but we need kind of all types of people.
Hamburger or hot dog?
Hot dog.
Both together with mac and cheese on top.
80s or 90s?
90s.
Mohawk or mullet?
Mohawk.
Mullet.
Ew. Really?
Yeah.
Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
Acoustic or electric?
Acoustic.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Rain or shine?
Shine. Why are we the same person?
To be or not to be?
To be.
To be.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Tea.
I knew you would say that.
Yeah, I knew you'd say that too.
NSYNC or Backstreet Boys?
Backstreet Boys.
Neither.
What? Oh my god.
Cream or sugar?
Sugar.
Cream.
Aunt or aunt?
Ant.
Pecan or pecan?
Pecan.
You guys or y'all?
Y'all.
Soda or pop?
Soda.
Stones or Beatles?
Beatles.
Nice.
Yeah.